order to make your jazz ballads sound sophisticated, you have to understand that the voicings that you are hearing me play are all voicings that I transcribed over time at different times, and then I am able to apply all of those learned voicings and things like that over a ballad. So I'm gonna try to break everything down just so you can get an understanding of how I'm thinking when I'm playing a tune like Stiller by Starlight. I start the tune off like this. That's that 2-5 E half diminished to A7. This goes back to my left hand shell voicings. There are just certain standard things in jazz piano that you're going to have to practice. All that's happening in the left hand are these. I guess I'm playing the full root position structure here for the 2. For the 5, 7 root and 3. And these are standard left hand voicings for jazz piano. It's like you have to know them. The only thing I'm doing here is adding the root in the left, and then I also have a sharp 11. Which I resolve to the E. And again, how do I know how to do a sharp 11? These again are things that you're gonna have to learn, right? It's a rule that works like 98% of the time. When you have secondary dominance in a song, sharp 11 is almost always going to work. And I do have a free PDF document that's going to show you exactly all of the right tensions to use where. So if you have a secondary dominant, primary dominant, if you have a dominant leading to a minor, what is the best tension or tensions to use for these kinds of dominants and other voicings as well. So check out that PDF. It's free. It's in the description. And how do I know how to do this? Right? Another voicing that I would break down and single out. This is a C minor 11 voicing in Stiller by Starlight. The melody lands on the F over C minor, which is the 11th of the chord. So what I would do is practice this voicing. So practice your 10th in your left. You know, maybe go up in whole tones. If you can't reach a 10th, as you can see, I can't reach a 10th between a black and a white note. But what I can do is I can roll it. But even if you can't reach in other places, you can roll it. So you can do. So that when the opportunity presents itself in a tune, you're able to use it, right? Up an octave. And what I'm doing here, I'm using a very common harmonic tool of when you have a 2-5, right? Rather than doing the minor 2 to just a plain dominant, I play a sus over the chord 5, and then I resolve the sus, you know, to the D. I would probably think of that suspended chord as playing the 2 over the 5. So you would do, here's my upper structure F minor in my right. I'll keep my right hand the same, and then I'll just do B flat, which is the 5 in the left, which will give me, you know, a sus 13 sound already, just by playing the upper structure of the 2 over the 5. And then I'll move to my dominant with the tension. If you look at that free PDF of the tensions, you will see that for primary dominance and dominance leading to a chord 4, which is a very typical move in jazz tunes, they tend to like specific tensions like 13 and the flat 9. So that's how I know how to, you know, choose those tensions. So if you want to really know how to work in the right tensions, I would look at that PDF right there. So I've been working on Stella by Starlight, writing out the solo piano arrangement that we talked about in the video. And this is just an arrangement that you will be able to open on your device, whatever you're using, your iPad. I have it open on my laptop right here. And these are just all the voicings that I talked about in the video. If you want to read it, this is what it'll look like for you. With this PDF, there will also be a link that you can click of me actually playing this particular arrangement. You know, notation tends to look more difficult than what it is, and so if you can follow along with me playing visually, I think that'll be really helpful if you intend on picking up this particular PDF. But all of the other PDFs that I talked about are available in the description. A lot of these voicings are from Oscar Peterson, one of my favorite players, and I do have a booklet that I made last year of his voicings. More on his voicings in this booklet if you want to dig deeper into that. Now in this section, I'm doing a lot of diminished work, and diminished chords are vital voicings you may want to check out. Again, here I'm giving you all the parts that you may want to spend time on. Spend time on working on your 11 voicings. Spend time on working on your shell voicings. Here you're going to want to spend time working on diminished chords. So in this section in Stella by Starlight, we have right, that's what we have. We have an 11 over that B flat chord, and I'm taking that opportunity to use a diminished chord over there, right? Just to explain this diminished situation, when you have a major chord, if you want to use or harmonize a melody using the diminished that works for that particular chord, you can look at the 7th degree of that chord. So B flat major 7 would be A. So we'll say A diminished. It's like F7. It's like playing F7 into B flat major 6. So you want to shape your B flat major 6. Right. But again, this is something that you would want to practice. So you do. And when you get to a tune like Stella, I'm using diminished again here. So the diminished for D minor is that C sharp diminished. And I'm doing diminished chords again for that F, because the composer is doing the same thing over F major when the tune moves to F major. A 4 over, you know, that chord 1, which again has that diminished sound. And everything that I'm talking about here is going to be available in the description for you to check out. So if there's any particular piece that you're interested in, so like example, these diminished chords that you can work through. Right, that's F, B flat. You can download specifically that PDF. If you just want to look at minor 11 chords, check that PDF out. Suspended chords to that dominant 13 flat 9. So all of these moving pieces, if you're interested in them, check them out, written out in all 12 keys in the description below. I'll also have a PDF where I'll combine everything if you want to check everything out. All right, so diminished chords. This voicing I quite literally stole from Mulgrew Miller. It's a sharp 11 with the flat 9. So transcribing really is your best friend when you're trying to get better at playing, you know. And yeah, I'm harnessing McCoy Tyner. So I've been creating videos on YouTube for something like 4 or 5 years now, and I've been sharing all of this content, putting together all of this material, PDFs, booklets, etc. that go with these videos, and I really feel like it's time that I put together a physical book and perhaps also an audio book, an actual published book, and this is something that I would love to do in 2026, hopefully. And with that said, if any of my videos, any of my booklets have been helpful to you as you've been following me, I know some of you have been following me from day one, from the start of this channel. If any of these videos have been helpful to you, consider leaving a donation toward me publishing my book. Your help is going to be greatly appreciated. The book itself is based off of this booklet that I created, I want to say probably beginning of last year, called I Wish I Learned This at Jazz School, and basically that's what the book is about. That video had a lot of comments of people going back and forth about, you know, the pros and cons of jazz school. I know I have my experience, which I've shared on this channel, and pretty much the book is all of the harmonic material I wish I learned at jazz school for all of the money that I paid. I wish I learned it at jazz school, but going along the way and having learned all that I have learned now, you know, I put it together in a book as a means to add to existing literature on jazz practice particularly, as well as to those younger people who perhaps may be struggling with jazz. This is kind of like that book that I hope to be the bridge between jazz school and like the reality of actually learning harmony on your own and really just doing it and becoming that musician. I wish I learned this at jazz school. I'm super excited about the book. Again, your support is going to be greatly appreciated. I'm going to leave the link to that. Fundraiser campaign in the description as well, and I'll also pin it in the comments. So if you feel inclined to do that, definitely leave a donation. It's going to go a long way. So Tyner really loved these voicings of when you have a dominant leading to a minor. He loved these altered left hand voicings to this -6, and oftentimes he would also move up, you know, -6 to like quartals for C minor. So because the piece is really at its high point at the climax at this G7 altered here, you know, I could do that open fifth like McCoy Tyner would do, and have his left hand voicings. Fourth voicings, I practice them on my own, and this is how I build my practice routine at the same time in my practice material. This is going to be my last thing that I'm talking about here. We're coming to the end of the tune. F7 alt. Wow, what a common voicing that if there isn't anything that you practice from this video, just learn altered dominant chords like flat 13, sharp 9, flat 9, like this sound. It's so common, not just to jazz, but other sub-styles. If I say I move it up a tone, I'll do a G, you know, G7 with a flat 13, sharp 9 to flat 9. So I'm moving to flat 9 here. I have this material, and when I practice it, I want to practice it well, right? So that I don't only use it over Stella, but I use it over other tunes. And then in the end, you can have something that sounds a little bit more sophisticated than playing your root third, seventh, you know, just chord tones.